camp in general has been a great camp.
Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
You know, like the athletes we've had out here have been exceptional, really. It's been quite good abilities in terms of like how we've been able to ride together. There's been like some hard days through like the process of it all. The first day we basically kicked off, jumped off the plane, did a nice easy spin just to allow the legs to recover. And then the following morning we actually did some mobility work like you're meant to do, woke up a bit stiff. And then we did the Tabiesco climb. That was basically a zone 2 ride, depending on who you ask. Some people might have said it was zone 3 going out there. And we just did like a 30-minute ride up to Tabiesco. It was great to get back out on the roads, you know, just make one of those threshold efforts. I think the first thing that you notice as soon as you get out here, obviously the air's like really warm. Myself, I've spent a lot of time on the turbo trainer, so it was good to open the lungs a little bit. I could definitely feel myself breathing quite heavily, and that took me around like 30 minutes that day. And then we basically took freewheel back in. It's a great descent back down to Lanta from there. The day after that, we ended up doing a long endurance ride. That was like a really good day out. We didn't have a calf stop that day. We managed to just pick up some nutrition. One of the garages, there's many garages like spotted all around the island. It was definitely quite a windy day, and yeah, I think some of the athletes were feeling that. So day 3 for me, I actually went out with Jack and we basically did like 6 by 3 minutes. And for me, it was just like a threshold effort. We went out, we did it on the climb. That's the great thing about Lanta, is like no matter where you gotta go, you can climb like straight out of here. And that was 6 by 3 minutes, just above like threshold power with 30 seconds recovery. And then we came back, met the guys, and we did like a long endurance ride. Fueled well throughout that, you know, it was a big day in the saddle, nearly 4 hours. Felt super strong myself, and I'd say a lot of the athletes felt like really recovered. And for that ride, we basically ended up going to Algalfo. It was a real good day out, quite windy, good weather. We've had good weather all week, to be honest, but yeah, felt good. Came back, hit the bar, had a club sandwich. We've been testing out the sandwiches here, which have been like really good. Recovered. We actually had a dip in the pool, which is always nice. No big swimming sessions, 1 lap was enough. Pretty cold in there as well, so it's good for the recovery. The following day after that, again, some of the athletes were feeling quite tired at this point, and we did our overgear efforts. There was a good group of us that went out. We went out to the coast. We ended up doing our overgear efforts. We went up to Yi that day. So that was a great climb. It just enabled us to. It generally takes like around like 25 minutes to do that climb. My goal that day was to do 3 by 10 minutes, doing basically torque work. I think overgear and torque work are 2 different factors really. Torque work is like you are running it on your Garmin device, and you're trying to keep in Newton meters, and that is a very low cadence. It's around like 45 to 55. And I was doing those with 10 minutes on, 5 minutes on, into 10 minutes. And that worked out like really well. Some great activation, and I could definitely feel like the 2 days previous to that. And then it was just basically cruise back into Lanta. Again, we had 3.5 hours on the cards, so yeah, felt good. And into the pool for some good recovery. I think that's the biggest thing that I've noticed, like, you know, like when you're not working, is the fact that you can just recover from each session like day to day. And that basically took us on to our long endurance ride of the week. We ended up doing just a 4-hour ride. I'd definitely say that was like more of a zone 2 ride. It's very hard to ride rides like zone 2 on some of the climbs here because it's just so exposed and windy. Ultimately, those days, you're just having a variation of cadences. We hit the bottom end of the island for this, with where all the volcanoes are. So we were at Tim 05 for this. And again, it was baking. It's always baking hot through that point. Hit 4.5 hours that day, so felt really good. And that basically led us on to the next day, which was a recovery day. And we just did 2 hours that day. We got up early, had a breakfast. We did myself and Graham, who's been out here with us, we did an hour, and then we picked up just Keith that day, and we ended up going to the CAF. And I'll be honest, we ended up spending 2 hours in the CAF, just talking to basically the guy that owns Pro Bike, which was really nice. He knew a lot of the same people that I did. We had some great cakes, great coffee, and it's always good to just to speak to like-minded people out here. And the rest of the day, really, I think most of us came back, did a bit of gym, and just recovered. Ate some good food and just felt good, really. Then after the recovery day, we basically hit again the Tabiesco climb. For me, we basically cruised out to Tabiesco, but even cruising out to Tabiesco, a lot of people, we talk about power, but I know a big thing now, everyone's talking about kilojoules and the amount of energy they actually expended. And what's surprising is that you talk about the zones of training, but even just getting out there, the normalised power is always really high. I'd burnt 1,000 kilojoules just getting to the bottom of Tabiesco. So even that in itself is quite a hard effort, 90 minutes out there with, I'd say, quite tired legs at this point. But it was great to get out to the climb. The goal for me this day, I basically wanted to vary the power between 320 to 340, and ultimately just do a full threshold effort for 30 minutes. I could raise the power more than that, but I just wanted to have control of what I were actually doing. I think that's it's very easy to do these camps and you can get carried away. You start surging the power, you're hitting 360, 380, but for me, I just wanted a controlled effort that day. I wasn't trying to set any records. I think we ended up climbing 28:45, which is by no means super quick, and I could definitely go faster. And a lot of the guys did the same effort, depending on the power to weight versus the power that they were going to push that day. So it was a super controlled effort, and we all ended up doing that. I think Jack, he ended up having the day off that day, and Clarkey unfortunately was sick, but the rest of us went out, made the ride, and it was a really good day. And then we cruised back, ended up getting a coffee in Teguise. We found a nice coffee shop, and then back into town, and had a nice recovery day, really. So basically, this is our last day now, and we've done had a super camp, really. Plenty of miles. At that point, we're at 18 hours training just on the bike alone. This has very much been a bike camp. We've gone out, we've done the Tabiesco climb. We did 4 hours 15. We ended up with on the clock. And it's really what is really surprising about this is the fact that I think we averaged, the speed is really slow, and you're doing 60 miles, so it's it's 15 mile an hour, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's a hard day in the saddle. I ended up doing 200 TSS. I think most of the guys were around that 190 to 210 TSS, which kind of the total for the training stress score for the week was around 1100. So it has been a very big week on the bike. I think that everybody's managed it well, being on top of hydration, nutrition, and fueling well after the sessions. We have had a few beers with our evening meals and stuff, but nobody's really got carried away. And I think that's a key part, that a lot of people, when they come on a training camp, they're trying to burn the candle at two ends. They'll start the week where you're just going out, you're smashing it on the first day, and then they're coming back having late evenings, not sleeping correctly because you're not in your bed, drinking beers, not not fueling well, you know, like they're probably overeating, and that's when you end up putting weight on, and you get to like day 3 of the camp and you're burnt out. But for each day, I would say that what we've all tried to do is make sure that we're hydrating, make sure that we're fueling on the bike and off the bike, and that's succeeding having a really good camp. And I think that we're all going to come out of this, you know, with great form. Like, it's got me very excited, the fact that I know how strong I've been riding, I've seen how strong the guys are. We'll all have a recovery week, and then we can build from this and progress into the next camp. I think like most people are going to be doing camps in like March and April time now, which would take us nicely into the season. Well, starting with the facility of Club Lanta, like I've stopped at a few places on the island, and I've really liked it here. You know, like I think it's just a great venue in terms of there's not many distractions. You basically got like the hub of Club Lanta, and you've just got what's in the facility. There's not very many places to walk, or you know, like walk into town, go and have a beer or whatever. You are in the 4 walls basically. So they've got great food. The place itself it's blown my mind. Like, I never realised quite how big it was. Like the gym itself is fantastic. You've got like an online shop, and everyone's just like really helpful here, which makes the whole process of it really easy. And just in terms of like the food is outstanding. You know, it's the type of food that you can eat like really well. You have got a little bit of junk, but there's not too much of it. You know, like if you want your vegetables and your pastas and your rice and you know, like good protein, then that's very much catered for. So yeah, I can't recommend this venue highly enough for a lot of people. With the facilities and just you know the food and everything that's all integrated into it. In terms of the people that we've been with, like I've done a lot of camps, and I'd say that this has been like one of the best I've been on. Just the group and the rapport between like the athletes. You know, like we have had some days where people have got tired and we've had a bit of banter, but there's been like no egos with it. And I think that's what I love, you know, it's just being with like-minded people that are kind of like, you do anything to help each other out, and that's what makes it quite unique, and what I love, you know, especially with my own job now, the people that I'm surrounded by, that who I want to be with, so it makes it fantastic really. And what is really nice is just being able to share this experience with you, you know, like bringing Jack out here, and like him seeing the journey, you know, like I think it's great really, and we want to try and bring like more of this content to you, so keep watching.